So T, tell me this is not cool.
Even Bradley has Coke Zero.
Uh-huh. This is amazing.
That's right. You know that's right.
What's up, brother? All right, it's about to be on.
And the customers are going to be maybe like women, and maybe they're going to be, LGBT.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Today in the studio, folks, I've got a real treat. Tianna Mick.
Hello.
What's happening?
Thank you for having me, Brad. Super excited.
You're welcome. Folks, if you guys ain't following this girl, at Tianna Mick, TIANNAMICK, you might be wondering, who is she? Oh, you can also find her at TGotYourKeys on Instagram, social media, things of that nature. You can also find her at TGotYourKeys.com. Now, did you stop that now that you're done selling?
No, so I actually have that still up and operational just to be kind of like a awesome demo for what you should be doing in automotive. So it's still up, available, and you can contact me at TGotYourKeys.com.
Not only that, but you would probably generate some leads, no?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, a lot.
So you're done selling cars. Folks, this girl, youngest girl in history to be a dealer principal. So she's going to be getting her own car dealership. She started out in the business as a youngster, smoked everybody on the showroom floor, learned everything from relations. I won't say who.
Right.
Sean Bradley. But, you had an advantage because you learned it from the get-go. But even with the advantage, it's not easy kicking ass and getting your own dealership.
No, not at all. And even like you said, having an advantage is one thing, but taking ownership and opportunity of the advantage is another.
Yeah,
So,
you seem very professional. How old are you?
thank you. I'm 22. I'll be 23 in April.
Have you always been very professional?
I say yes. I think that I was always like an old soul. So I feel like an old lady trapped in a body. Yeah.
That's my wife. It's funny. My wife is 33, but she acts like she's 60, which is a good thing because I'm older. So, I wouldn't want her acting too young. But
Right. No.
being 22 years old, getting your own dealership, how's that feel?
It's definitely overwhelming, not going to lie, but like I said, it's a huge opportunity and I definitely don't want to miss out on it. And like you said, I try to carry myself very professional because I am young, but that shouldn't strive anybody or any organization away from what I can do.
Not to mention, in the car business, there's generally, I haven't been in it in a while, but there's generally not a lot of females.
No, not
Why
at
is
all.
that, you think?
Honestly, because I think the automotive industry is very slow to evolving and coming up with times nowadays, and especially Gen Z and things like that. So I just feel like the dealership world and automotive organization altogether is just decades behind in any other organization and industry, I believe. And that's just my number one thought and reason.
Yeah, but do you think the dealerships won't accept them, or do you think they're not coming?
I think it's a little bit of both. Just because, for instance, at my first dealership when I worked there, it was very locker room talk. It was, they didn't have a female salesperson on the floor for 10 years. So I was the first female they had. I was 19 years old. I just turned 19. I actually was trying to go to college, but I dropped out and I was like, let me try this car dealership thing. So once I got into there, it felt like high school again. I felt like I was kind of, in the lunchroom or in the locker room listening to a bunch of girls and guys, shit talk and different things like that, which I think kind of prompted me to go into the automotive industry just because it didn't scare me that people were talking like that and being disrespectful. Not that it was okay, but unfortunately, as a that business, you do have to realize that it's there just because we are decades behind of what should be said nowadays, if you know what I mean.
But now you're going to the national conferences speaking on diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
So why are they tapping you to talk about that?
So I believe the number one reason is, like I said, the way I carry myself is just very professional, and it's hard to talk about certain things like being gay or the LGBT community, and especially when it comes to car dealers, like I said.
Even today, though?
Oh, yeah. No,
Seems
even
like
today.
everybody's gay now. So you're very passionate about the LGBTQ. Is that the right
Yes.
words?
LGBTQ plus. Yeah.
Plus. What's the plus?
Alphabet Mafia.
So what do you think about Alphabet Mafia, by the way? It's pretty powerful.
It's the Alphabet Mafia. That's what we're called. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm telling you right now, folks don't want to get canceled. That's usually what you don't want to talk about.
Exactly.
Or make fun of. But, at the end of the day, I'm thinking nowadays, like, dude, it's pretty common now. Like maybe 20 years ago, it was like, oh, you're gay.
I know. No, it honestly does feel like that in any other business, right? But you have to think to yourself, when you talk about automotive, these guys are, I just want to say, just these dirty, gritty guys that
crass.
Yeah, and it's just the industry and the habitat that they kind of grew up in, because their dads were kind of like that, right? And wheeling and dealing cars, and let's roll back the miles, and let's glue on this bumper so that this guy can just roll off the lot. And they grew up with that. So my thing is just because we were raised like that doesn't mean we have to continue doing things like that. So with diversity and inclusion, we can start implementing and putting people like me, or even other ethnicities and people in the LGBT community in other positions, to make us more aware. Because like I said, there's no representation in automotive right now. It is crazy, like you said, but there is none.
Well, see, I thought it changed and got better. No? Still the same?
Yeah.
Same when it comes old biz?
When it comes to automotive, it really is the same. And like the National Automotive Minorities, I'm butchering it, but it's NAMAD. And they're minority dealers association, and they all come together and basically try to think of ideas on how we can have more representation in the dealership, because there's less than 6% of minority people that own dealerships, and that includes Black, Asian, Hispanic, everybody. But 30% of vehicles are purchased from minorities, and that number is only increasing. So that's why we'd really need to flip the script and say, okay, maybe we can have 6% non-minority dealers having dealerships, just because the demographic and our customers are becoming more diverse. It's time for us to evolve from that.
Do you believe deep down it's an old boy network?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference, like if I'm hiring a dealer principal and there's 100 applicants and one's gay, I don't care what they're doing there. I'm going to take the best candidate. So if every single time the best candidate happened to be, non-minority, well, then I'd always keep taking non-minorities. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. The minorities better get better. But if it's an old boy network, well, then I'm not taking the most qualified because they're a minority or because they're gay or because they're a female. I'm not taking any because of that. Now that is I believe something needs to change. So do you believe that's kind of how it is right now in the industry? I
do believe that's how it is, but just to flip it, just because of what you said, is I believe that even dealers now, regardless if they agree with what you practice or not, or even accept what you are, they realize there's a business behind it, right? They realize, okay, my customers, let's say we're in California, 80% of my customers are going to be maybe like women, and maybe they're going to be, LGBT and things like that. So they know, even though they don't accept that, they need to put people like in sales in that position, a gay woman in sales, or, an African-American male in the management position, just because maybe you don't agree with it, like you said, but just as a business standpoint, that's what the world's coming to. Like you said, you were surprised that, everybody's gay now, right? But in the automotive industry, you walk in and you look around and a lot of the people just look the same. And it might be all, women sometimes, and that's a problem too. You need to have diversity of everything. We need more white men sometimes in dealerships, just because there aren't enough. Well,
I can tell you that when I used to sell cars and a Hispanic family walked in, they would say, do you have anybody that speaks Spanish? And I'd always look at them because they said it in perfect English, and I'd say, why? And they would prefer to work with a Hispanic. I think it's maybe trust. It's their culture. What do you think?
Yes. No, that's exactly what it is. I was just going to say it's comfortability, just because I've worked with somebody that said, oh, do you have somebody that speaks Spanish? And my partner, my girlfriend, she was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and she came over here when she was about 18. So her first language is Spanish. So every time I had a Spanish customer, I would call up my girlfriend and I would just say, hey, can you translate this for me? She was working at a retail store at the time, but she's like, yeah, let me go in the back real quick and translate for you. So she would like translate these deals. And then, like you said, sometimes it would get to the point where they would say, okay, I do speak English. I just wanted to, feel comfortable, because think about it. What if you went to, France or Germany and they had all of the papers in German and all of the MSRPs and numbers? Well, the numbers are obviously world language, but everything's in German. You're not going to feel comfortable signing something if you don't completely understand it. So like,
but that would be why dealers should have diversity.
Oh yeah, correct. No, yeah, definitely. Dealers should have diversity 100%, but going back to any language thing is trust and comfortability. Same thing with a woman. If a woman walks in, she might feel more comfortable talking and purchasing from a woman just because we might share the same day experiences. I have my purse on my bag. I need to use the lift tailgate thing. My stepfather, he has a little rolly bag, so he's not going to do that. He's going to act differently. So just pairing up, like you said, if you were to walk into a dealership, I would want to put you with a person like you, because they dealt with situations similar to you and are going to help you find the vehicle that you need. And I think that's, at the end of the day, everybody's job. Yeah,
that's why dealers should pay attention and be a little bit more diverse and inclusive.
Yes,
definitely. I'm just wondering, like, if I sat in a room full of dealers, if they would be like, I ain't hiring no lesbian, because I don't hear that. Like, first of all, lesbians have it easier than gay dudes. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
As a dude, lesbian doesn't bother any dudes.
No,
it's the gay dudes where if someone's worried about it, they're like, that dude's gay. But lesbians never really bothered anybody.
Oh yeah, no. And to me, no, that's 100% true. And to me, it's just wild, because it has to be like your ego complex, because you just think, because I'm a male and they like men, they must like me now. Like, same thing with women. Just because I'm a lesbian, I don't like every single woman I see. Yeah. So I think that stigma, behind it makes it a little easier for women. And, obviously the propaganda and just, certain things online promote women and lesbians to be more okay and open versus, gay men, which is not okay. But I think, like I said, it goes back to just being egotistical.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out if there's gay and lesbian listening. I like to provide opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So selling cars, I think, is a killer boot camp. Mm-hmm. Now, I used to sell cars, and it built me up to where I can now do what I do. I think it was like a boot camp. And I know a lot of successful people that started in the car business and now they're not in the car business. Funny enough, I own RV dealerships now, and I'm even talking to a buddy of mine, and I might go buy a couple dealerships if we can.
Right.
So I'll go back into it. But everyone listening should, definitely consider, especially if you're not kicking ass and taking names yet, you're just trying to feel your way. Mm-hmm. Go give the car business a shot. But if you're gay or lesbian or any of the, minorities that might think it'll be a hostile work environment, what would you say to them?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would honestly say to them, Brad, is that they've been dealing with it their whole life, right?
So get over it?
No, not just get over it. It's more of like, hey, I've done this before, right? Like, if I lifted 100 pounds every day, I'm not going to get pissed off. I got to do it again. Like, I have comments on my social media that, aren't the nicest and are very rude, especially in these days and age, about me being gay.
How would they even know?
Well, not that I promote it, but like, even I have like accents, like on my watch here, I have like my Apple Watch, and I have a rainbow, band on, and that doesn't mean I'm gay, but nowadays, unfortunately, rainbow, everything is gay, right? But that's just me, showing a little bit of pride.
Do you see one of my guys out there coming in here? He had the little rainbow flag on his workstation. Does that mean he's gay?
It doesn't mean he's gay.
See,
but
I haven't even thought of it. I'm like, I didn't even think like, oh, that dude's gay. And even if he was, like, who cares?
No,
like,
yeah, no.
What does it matter if somebody's gay or not
yeah,
gay?
no. And it could also mean that he's an ally. And when people say like, why do you have to be proud of it? Why do you have to display it? I'm like, why do you have to be ashamed of it? You have patriotic pride, people driving in their monster trucks with their American flag and other flags that I don't want to represent, behind them waving it. Why do they do that? They feel prideful. And I also want to go back to pride isn't gay. Pride is being prideful about anything. You can be prideful about this podcast and this show.
What if you are just like, sometimes I'll be like, dude, that's gay. Meaning, because that's what has always been said.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean like literal. It just means
yeah.
like, that's a lame outfit or, but that's like,
yeah.
I've slipped and said, dude, that's totally gay.
Oh, I said it. Yeah. When I was like 6 years old, 8 years old, I said it. I grew up in that generation.
But is that a derogatory term?
It is.
What do you say?
I would say then, like, and for instance, I would say like, oh my God, yeah, that's so straight. And then just like,
but I'd laugh.
What did
I
you
wouldn't
say?
be offended.
I'd be like,
straight.
oh, that's so straight. Oh no, that's fine. And Brad, you're obviously very different than maybe some of our listeners.
Yeah, but I always wear monotone, blacks, blues, or whites. Navy blue, black, or white's usually my thing. I don't get into a lot of color. But if someone walked up and said, dude, you dress so straight, I would laugh. I'd think it's funny. I wouldn't be offended.
Right.
So if someone walked in with a pink shirt and, rainbow socks and someone said, dude, you're dressing gay, why is that offensive?
So saying like you're dressing gay, that's different than saying that is gay. Because if something is gay, then that's fine. If something is girly, then that's fine. But if you meant to say that's stupid or that's lame or that's not what I want to do or that guy looks, ugly, saying gay.
So it's the intent.
Yes. And the placement of the word and exactly like you said, the intent that you put behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to turn this into
a gay
no pun intended,
podcast.
a gay episode.
I think a lot of your listeners, I don't know if you get more or less listeners. What do you think?
I probably get more.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, dude.
I'm sure if you came out with like a rainbow flag and your shirt.
Listen, I'm not against anybody. Personally, when I do hear, because I sit in the locker sometimes and I hear people, gay and,
Yeah.
I always say to myself and out loud, like, dude, who cares? Like,
right.
you don't have to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it, but well, I don't even want to bring up my family, but hey, listen, I'm related to some gay folks and guess what? Whatever, like,
it doesn't matter.
I just want people to be happy. If you're happy and that's what makes you happy, have at it. And if you can kick ass at the job and you happen to be gay, who cares? I don't really care. I think whoever can do the job should get the job.
Yes.
I kind of don't like when they say, well, we're only going to give this opportunity to a minority because we need to, so we can look inclusive. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to give it to, a lesbian woman, this grant because, we have to look like we're inclusive. Well, just give it to the best person. And if they happen to be lesbian or gay or black or white or whatever they are, how about just give it to the person that's most qualified?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. But unfortunately, when it comes to automotive, as you know, when you're looking for a job, you have to kind of sell yourself, right? And I understand that me being gay is a big business opportunity. It checks off a lot of, me being a woman, Spanish and gay, it checks off a lot of boxes for businesses that, want to sponsor me or endorse me. I have a couple people, wanting me to show off their products.
So it's an advantage.
Yeah,
See?
but think about it.
So
we were at a disadvantage before, right? It's time for us to have an advantage. Like, come on now.
That's
yeah.
right. There's nothing wrong with taking advantage, is it?
No,
So-
not when it's for your benefit and not hurting others.
So you didn't kick ass because you're gay. So let's talk about how you kicked ass in case there's people selling cars right now and they're wanting to know how to get the shit you got going, because it wasn't because you're gay.
No.
So what did you do when you started to elevate through the game so quickly?
So basically what I did was, see, our family business kind of specializes in, helping dealerships kind of achieve their goals and be all they can be, right? So I had this philosophy and we were all talking like, what if we looked at you as your own dealership? Like, what if you were the dealership, you were the GM, what would you do differently? Kind of like a lot of dealerships and GMs right now aren't doing a lot of, like we were talking about, diversity and things like that. So what would I do personally? So some of the things that I did was I needed an online presence, right? Kind of like how you have your online presence, you know, branding, content, things like that. So the number one thing that I did was put myself in front of the world, basically. And it wasn't easy. I remember my first video that I shot, it was like a 30-second video, and I had to shoot it 178 times to get a 30-second video of, hi, I'm Tianna, and this is my dealership. And it was so nerve-wracking, but eventually, like, it's any habit, like, eventually you keep doing it, and you're just going to get it down. And to anybody listening that says, oh yeah, I tried doing videos and, you know, none of that worked and I felt awkward and things like that. It's like, yeah, you don't think Ellen or anybody on TV feels awkward constantly smiling or being like hoity-toity, like, yeah, it's me. Like, of course, it's uncomfortable. It's nerve-wracking. You talk to these people, celebrities, all the time. They tell you I have different personas. That's what I had to do. I had to tell myself I'm a different person right now. When I walk into this dealership, I am TGotYourKeys. I'm not Tianna Mick. I'm TGotYourKeys. So that's what I would tell people listening. Like, what's your persona? You know, Beyonce has her persona. What is yours? What are you doing to feed your persona? Not your ego. There's a difference. It's feed your persona and how to, you know, upload content around that. You know, some people are boring, which is whatever, but your persona could be a Jim Carrey kind of funny guy. You could pretend to be anybody you want, and when you walk out of the dealership, nobody's going to think you're not. Does that make sense?
A little bit. I think people are afraid of what other people might think.
Oh, yeah.
So they feel stupid. And I try to tell people the reason you feel stupid is because you value other people's opinion over your own, because you don't value yourself enough. Mm-hmm. So you got to teach people how to value themselves. Now, you know, Bradley On Demand, a training system, yes. Sean Bradley, who's sitting here with you. Now, there was an advantage with that, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's been in the business forever. He's got a training program and a consulting company for car dealerships, BDCs, internet, showroom traffic, prospecting. Were you learning all that growing up?
Yeah. And not that I wanted to, but I was like subconsciously immersed into everything that my family was doing and all the success that they were having, just because I even remember like playing on my DS. I was playing Mario Kart on my DS and just drifting, and I would listen to my stepdad making calls saying, you know, you always have to be closing or selling, and, you know, different things like that as a child I would want to put in my headphones and kind of block it out. But now that I got older, I was like, hold on, like you said, that was an advantage. You know, my parents weren't quote unquote being annoying or quote unquote trying to make me, you know, eat the vegetables I didn't want to eat. They were subconsciously prepping me for my adult life and for me to, you know, try to take over this industry.
Is that your goal?
Yes.
You want to take it over?
Absolutely. I want to take it over, but with not just on my own, with people. I want to bring people with me. Like we were mentioning before, I want to match the right people with the right job, regardless being diverse or not. But if I look around my clique and my, you know, network, we're all diverse. So going back to, you know, automotive and things like that, I think it needs to come down to who you are as a person and try to feed into that. And like I said, try to create your own persona, because you said people might feel embarrassed or they don't want to do certain things because they might feel ashamed. But like you said, it's because their thoughts are overpowering your actions of what you want to do. And so why are you letting people do that? Why are you letting people put their... And what I want to say is also is they're kind of jealous if you think about it, right? That you kind of have the guts and the nerve to kind of go up and shoot a video or to actually go out and do it. It's easy to sit back and shit talk. It's easy to sit back and say, oh my God, why is he doing that? That's so dumb. It's hard to do it. So when people are making fun of you or you feel like you're being embarrassed because people aren't doing anything, just go back and think to yourself, I'm doing something. What are you doing? I'm actually doing something. So you should feel embarrassed.
Okay, so if I got some car dudes or car girls listening to me right now, they should take out their iPhone and start making videos.
Yes, definitely.
What kind of videos? What would they say?
Yeah, so videos that I would do are going to be like introduction videos. So, and this goes back to the automotive industry being decades behind of any other industry. We don't even have videos, and sometimes people on the dealerships, pictures of who works there. So if I said, oh yeah, come into the dealership, you're going to meet Brad, there's not even a picture of Brad. Who's Brad? Like, I'm going to walk in and feel so uncomfortable versus I'm going to say, like, when I walked in here into the Dropping Bomb studio, I was super comfortable. There was a sign. It said, welcome, Tianna Mick. I was super excited. People were there, greeting me at the door. It was very welcoming. It was an experience. But a lot of dealers don't do that. They just say, yeah, come in whenever. And if they come in, they just get with whatever person's available. It's not an experience anymore. So I would say to start making videos on the experience. What experience do you want your customers to have? So introductory videos, I'm Tianna Mick. This is what we're going to be doing. You're going to park here into this parking spot. You're going to come into those doors and you're going to see me. I'm going to be standing there greeting you. Just because simple things like that, Brad, you wouldn't believe goes such a long way in this industry that it blows my mind that people aren't doing it now.
Well, they're going to start if they want to sell 20 plus cars.
Yes.
How long did it take you before you started averaging 20 plus cars?
I want to say probably 3 months into the business. And the first month being, just immersed. Like you said, it was kind of like boot camp, just product knowledge, how to talk to people. It's a lot of psychology too. If you think about it, how people sit or position their hands, or when they look at their wife when they say something, that means they're lying, versus if they just keep looking at me when they say something, different things like that. And then, to get your feet wet, just because it is nerve-wracking to go up to somebody and say, hey, do you want to buy this $50,000 car? And that's on the cheap end sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but why would it be nerve-wracking? They're coming to you.
So it would be nerve-wracking to some people just because of the uncomfortability, because of the stigma behind car dealers, right? That they're dirty, they're greedy.
Not necessarily dealers, salesmen.
Salesmen, exactly. And we're,
car dealers are the dudes walking around with all the money.
Right, with all your traded money that you didn't
get. But you
get.
never see the dealer.
No, and not at a, you'll see the dealer at a good dealership. At my last dealership that I was with, the dealer was very involved. And like I said, I was very grateful to work for them. And they gave me the position to, like I said, in a couple of months, get on the ground and start selling 20 plus cars, just because I was selling an experience. I wasn't selling a product anymore. And I think that's what people focus on too much. Like, if you're selling a pen, don't sell the pen, sell the pen's experience, how easy it's going to make your life, how easy you're going to write, the car, sell the experience of you buying the car, so that in 3 years when you come back, you're like, oh my gosh, that experience was actually fun. I want to buy another car.
Now, you've been in Digital Dealer Magazine, I see, and you were awarded the #1 influential female car salesperson in 2019.
Yes. And that was all because of the social media and things like that. And also I did have a TikTok, not as viral as yours, as we had mentioned kind of, but I had a TikTok video that went 2.5 million views, which I was selling cars at the time.
Did that drive you business?
Oh yeah. I sold, just off that one video, I sold 10 cars, and I wasn't even talking. Like, I literally spun in my chair and pointed up at some words on a screen on my TikTok, and it was just a stupid sound. It wasn't even anybody saying anything. And all I said was, instead of asking the dealership for more money off, like, once you feel like you kind of grind them down to where you want the deal, like, ask for free oil changes or floor mats and stupid things like that, because those are things that dealers would give away, because think about it. I was giving customers advice for them, but I also have to think about myself, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell a customer, tell them I want to see the invoice and go below MSRP and this and that. I'm going to tell the customer, ask for floor mats off, because that's $300 off the bill, not $3,000 you're asking. So I was giving knowledge to my people, saying, ask for the things that you want, but I was also smart about it and not giving away all my secrets, because I still need to make a business, right?
Not to mention, the floor mats might be $300 retail, but it's really only $90 for the dealer.
Exactly. But we can show them that it's, $300.
So to me, if you end up with a dealership, well, then it's all been worthwhile, because that's a license to print money, especially right now.
Yeah.
Were you in the business when COVID hit?
Yeah. I was
Isn't that the craziest shit you ever saw?
It was insane. I was kind of scared, just because it got to the point so when I was selling cars, I was in PA, and it got to the point where everything was shut down except hospitals and car dealerships. And I just questioned, the industry altogether, because dealers were fighting like, we're an essential business, people need to get places. But then a part of me was kind of scared, right? Because we're in a pandemic and I'm meeting hundreds and thousands of different people driving hours away. And like you said, now with the industry inventory shortage and things like that, now people are making even more money. So it's insane that this pandemic kind of helped, but also, like I said, hindered some businesses as well.
Well, the problem with this is everybody's fat and happy because they're making a ton of money, and it's not going to last forever.
Oh no, the rug's going to get pulled soon, and they're all going to be trying to, belly up, trying to get up.
They better get Bradley on demand, because all you do is go back to the basics. Like instead of just all this traffic and kicking people out because they're not offering enough because the next person will buy it.
Yeah.
When that ends, you can still sell cars. You just got to go back to the fundamentals.
Exactly.
I used to teach salespeople how to prospect. Nobody teaches that anymore. Like I showed people how to go out and find business, not just sit there and wait for the business. And when you can find business, especially at your own car dealership. Did you ever work the service drive?
Yeah, of course.
There's people that literally, you go into a car dealership nowadays, there's nobody in the service drive except for the freaking service advisors. Sometimes I'll bring my own vehicles in just, because I'm driving by or whatever, and I need to go in there. And I'm just sitting there thinking, dude, who runs this place? Like, how come there's no salesperson sitting right here?
Yeah, no.
I would station one sitting right there.
One of the things, actually, it's funny that you bring that up, that we'd done was I would have custom donut boxes with TGotYourKeys on it. And it would just be a custom plain, donut box that you can buy online. And I would go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy a dozen donuts, put them in my box, and then have them at the service center so that when a customer comes up to even get a cup of coffee, get a donut, I can walk over and it's not as salesy. Hey, grab a donut. My dealership bought it. No, I bought it. These are my donuts. I just wanted to buy them for you, so that it's not like, such as a salesy type of sleazy thing that we're trying to do. We're just trying to help you, and here's a donut.
So really you kind of just acted like an intrapreneur. Like it was your dealership.
Oh yeah, of course. I kind of saw myself like, if you were to imagine, like when you go to the mall and you see those little kiosks with the guys and the girls handing you the lotions, and you're like, please do not look at me. That was basically me. I saw my desk as like a little tiny kiosk in a mall. So I saw my business like a little tiny business in the dealership, and I had to make more waves than all the businesses, aka desks and salesmen around me. So how was I going to do that? These guys aren't on Facebook. They're not on Instagram. They're not on TikTok. These guys are decades behind. And
were a lot of them old?
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that, but a little bit, which
old, fat, straight fatties.
Hey, but that works for some people, right? We still have that group that we need to sell to. So we definitely still need that employee to be there to sell to them.
Do you have the LGBTQ plus community banging down your door?
Oh, yeah. Another thing that I was doing was I was running Facebook ads. And some of them were generic, like come buy a car, like everybody was doing. But some of them were targeting police, military, and then the others were LGBT. And like I said, they were targeted. So it was weird that I got some hate on the targeted LGBT ones, because that means that there must be a little sugar in there somewhere, because your algorithm says that you're LGBT and you need to buy a car from me. So when people were seeing my ads, a lot of them were super excited about it, because they were like, I never saw a car dealership actually.
Back up. So what you're saying is you ran ads to specifically find the gay people.
Yeah.
And there were dudes that were not necessarily supposed to be found.
Yeah.
What would they say?
So they were like, it would be like a comment and it would say, I'm not gay. Why is this on my page? But then I would just kindly respond like, I'm sorry, sir, but these are targeted ads. So that means that Facebook must believe that you are a part of the community, and that's why you're receiving this. So I don't know what you're liking or looking at other places, because
that's what they're liking and looking at.
Not necessarily on Facebook. I don't know what you look at your private history, but those cookies are still captured. So we're going to find
Facebook
you.
Facebook knows where you've been.
Yeah, no, exactly. So to those people like that, I would just kind of brush them off, because you would, obviously expect that, some hatred towards those kind of things. But it was a little more, like you said, funny than anything, because they are targeted. So if you got them, that means there's definitely something there.
Well, I'm starting to think, have I ever seen any gay ads?
You're like, I don't know if I want to openly say that.
But I've seen ads that I didn't necessarily think they were me. Maybe someone targeted incorrectly, because I can run an ad targeted at the gays and it's just a bad ad, and I'm not finding a mark. In other words, I targeted incorrectly.
Meaning like your message was incorrect?
Yeah. Cause like I can run an ad and target, car salesmen, but if the ad, if the product or service I'm marketing or I'm selling is not necessarily for them, I targeted wrong, but it would still find them.
Right.
Because I targeted them.
And,
but my product doesn't match.
Yeah. And not that that's necessarily bad. Like, for instance, I sometimes get targeted ads that I think my girlfriend would like, right? So even if, like you said, you had family members in the LGBT community, if you saw that, you'd be like, maybe Mike should go buy a car from T, because I never saw an LGBT ad, right? Like, you would just think like, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for my mom or my grandma or my uncle.
Have you ever opened up Instagram and went to Discover?
Yes.
And then it just plasters a bunch of stuff?
Oh, yeah. And I follow that. And people need to realize that that's an algorithm too. Like, if you open something and even if you're like, what is that? That's crazy. And you just wanted to see it for a second. Now you refresh your page, it's all of that. If you were looking at medical videos, now your whole page is medical videos, just because that's how the algorithm works.
Yeah. So if you want to see somebody who they are, just tell them to open up Instagram and show me your Discover page.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, one time when TikTok first came out a while back, I opened it up and I was talking to a social media expert who was telling me how TikTok was awesome. And I'm like, bro, like, I don't get it. I don't understand TikTok. I said, every time I get on it, I'm seeing either chicks walk in with their butts or like cars exploding and shit. And then he
Male
educated
stuff.
that he said, well, it finds what it sends you what it thinks you like and what you're watching. And I'm like, well, that's true. Cause like if I see a nice butt, I'll watch it for a minute.
A little longer, right?
Yeah.
And then
milliseconds, they know, or you slide it back like you're doing this and you go, oh, wait a minute.
You're like, I missed that.
Well, yeah, they go, okay, whatever that was, they like that. So basically I told on myself, So now it's like every time, sometimes I'll go to my wife, I'll be like, hey, open up your Discover page.
Oh, no.
I've never caught, dudes or anything.
Yeah, the Chippendales.
No, I catch, all wholesome, innocent things. That's the ones you got to worry about, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But like I'm expecting to see, what she's really looking at all day long. Because, who knows?
Oh,
but
yeah.
they know.
Oh, they know. That's why, it to some extent works, right? And that's why some people say it's scary when people track you or do certain things like that. Now, when you go to apps and things like that, they ask you, do you want us to track you? I hit allow. I don't care, because think about it. You're putting other companies' money and time to find products that I think I would like, and that I don't even have to go out and try to find them. You're like, oh my gosh, I think you'd like this. And I'm like, yeah, I would like that. Like, it makes my life so much easier. Some people are scared, like, oh, I don't want them knowing what I'm doing or what I'm looking at. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're doing something super crazy that you don't want anybody to look at, they already know, and they already have you on their list.
So let's say you get your own car dealership. You think you know how to run the whole thing from tip to tail just because you were good selling cars?
Oh, no, not at all.
How are you gonna hire a GM or be the GM?
So I like to look at myself as like a part of the Avengers, right? I'm never gonna be that I'm the leading person and this is my team. We're all equal parts of the team, right? Captain America has his shield. That doesn't mean that he's gonna beat up the guy that has a sword fight. So I need to find somebody that's gonna be my shield guy. I need to find some swords guys. So I'm good at selling, right? I'm good at being diverse. So we have that. I need to find somebody that's gonna be good at selling cars for me, or maybe doing marketing. But honestly, Brad, we have a lot of that already in our network just because of our business. So it's just going to be, like you said, an advantage, and it's just going to be easier for us. But like you said, it's not just going to be me. I'm a team. And that's why when I say I want to take over this thing, it's not just me. I want us to take over this thing, my whole team.
So if dealers are listening, give me 3 things they can do to start making it more comfortable and inclusive, so they can start attracting more people that kick ass like yourself.
Oh, yeah. So meaning like employees or customers?
Both.
Okay. So
because if you ask a dealer, they don't need any employees. They need customers.
Right. So
and real quick, just so I'm on the point, dealers, pay attention if you're listening. Okay. You guys need to train people better. You guys need to invest more money into training, but most people don't because like, what if I spend a bunch of money and train them and then they quit? Well, they quit because of your culture, number one, or they fail. So your training sucks. But training at car dealerships has always been my thing. You know why? Because they will spend $50,000 to drive people through the door, but they won't spend a couple $1,000s to make sure that they're taken care of and trained employees help them.
And to keep them there, right? Because like you said, they're just going to go somewhere else.
And it increases the gross and it increases the retention, et cetera, et cetera. So like if I were in a room full of dealers, if I were speaking at an NADA conference where all the dealers are in the room, I'd say, first of all, train your people better. Forget if they're gay or not, just train them better. Continuously train, because training isn't something you did.
It's what you do.
It's something you do. You heard that before, Bradley?
I did.
So dealers, these 3 things are something that you should be thinking about if you want to open up the environment to attract more successful entrepreneurs.
One would be if it's going to be for, let's say, customers, right? Okay. One is going to be, it goes back to making your customer comfortable in your environment. A lot of people don't walk into dealerships. It's kind of scary for them. It's kind of like if you were like a lawyer walks into a courthouse every day. He's like, whatever, right? If you walk into a courthouse, I'm nervous. Like, I don't even do anything, but I'm scared someone's going to pop out and arrest me for no reason, which sometimes people at the dealership, they feel like that. They feel like they're going to walk in all of a sudden. It's like, oh my gosh, you just bought this car. All of a sudden, I accidentally bought a car.
I do that when a cop's behind me. I don't know.
Just
I don't
get
know
scared
why.
for no reason. Exactly. So my thing would be to be comfortable, right? So how am I going to make this customer comfortable? That's my number one thing. And it's going to be with the video is set the expectation. What is going to happen and what are we going to do? Who am I? And eliminate all questions they might have. So it would be your salesperson's name, who they are, like I said, where they're going to park, where they're going to go into, where their desk is, and then the process. We're going to find a vehicle. Next, we're going to look at prices and things like that, and then get you financing. And then even at the end, however, if you wanted to...
What part of the process do we bend them over?
Silently when they're not realizing it. You don't want to put that in the video, but like I said, just making sure that they're comfortable in the environment so that they can feel free to go into your dealership. And then
if I were a dealer and I had an American flag on the point, should I put a rainbow flag as well?
I say to practice what you fully believe, because
but it's to get customers. Like, I don't need to believe in gay sex to welcome gay people.
I know, but think about it, because if you have that flag up, right, then I'm gonna think, oh my gosh, they're super nice. They're gonna be, not that they're not gonna be nice, but
that means we want the gay people.
Yeah, right. But that doesn't mean that you're properly equipped to
that's another story.
Them properly.
That's another story. Tianna, I'm trying to figure out if I'm a dealer listening to this, because I know a bunch of dealers and car people do listen to this.
Yeah.
I want to give them some value, and it's like ideas. So if I'm a dealer and I'm thinking based on what we talked about, man, I'll stick a rainbow flag out there.
Yeah.
Does that mean all the LGBTQ plus people driving by be like, oh, they're friendly? Well, would that have a bunch of them driving in? Because if it is, I'm putting me a rainbow flag up.
I would say yes. And that goes back to, just because you have a rainbow flag doesn't mean that you are gay. It could be, like you said, you're like, I don't care. To you, if you don't care as a dealer, that flag could mean I don't care because money is green. I don't care. I'm about to hang out a green flag because that's what I want. I just want money to walk in here, right? So I don't care at the end of the day, right? It could just mean I'm an ally, not that I am gay. But to go back to your point is, a lot of dealers don't have, gay flags, quote unquote, or LGBT flags and pride, things like that out. But if you notice, in my area at least, a lot of churches started doing that, right? A lot of religious places in my area started doing that. Unfortunately, I think because they realized if I don't put a flag up, then they think I'm anti-gay, right? Which is not what we want. But I think, as to go back on the church thing, is they just know that, okay, we don't have to be 100% okay with it, but we're accepting of you to come in, if that makes sense. Like, you're comfortable to come in. So even if you don't accept people, quote unquote, 100%, that flag is like, you're an ally. Like, you can come in here and you're going to be okay. So if you're a business and you're listening to this and Yeah, I would put up a pride flag. I would show that, you do accept others. And same thing with the American flag. You put the American flag up because you're proud of your country, right? So be proud of your customers walking in.
There you go, folks. You
My
heard
first
that.
one. I was waiting for it.
Well, I've been forgetting to drop them. You
Sorry,
dropped
sorry.
a few. So a rainbow flag, and you can tell my voice is a little bit shot. I don't know why.
We're in the desert.
No, it's
My
not
lips
that.
are chapped.
It's not that. It's
Hot out here.
I have a little bit of a cough or something.
Oh, no.
Not COVID.
Oh no. I'm glad this studio is 6 feet apart, so we'll be
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
You have a
guys
big
will-
studio here.
You guys will be okay. Trust me. Now, dealers, salespeople, dealers put up a rainbow flag?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that'll attract a bunch more people.
Might attract a couple, right? Who have friends and family. That's more than you had before than zero.
It might stop people too, because if I'm driving by and you have a rainbow flag, and now I think if I pull in, they're gonna think I'm gay.
And now
so let me
all
go
my
to the
Facebook
next,
ads are going to be LGBT.
Let me go to the next dealership.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely an issue.
Targeting does.
Yeah. No,
What's the gayest car going right now?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Like
think
if you drive a Jetta and you're a dude, is
Yeah.
that probably likely mean something? There's got to be some sort of car that, a lot of the gay pride community believe in. Like,
yeah. Oh no,
when
definitely.
when I was a kid, if you drove a Jetta and you were a dude, that was kind of known as like a girl's car. So if
Right.
you drove one, kind of meant everyone thought you were gay.
Yeah.
Is there a car that the gay community flocks towards?
Honestly, when it comes to like stigmas and or like things like that, maybe like Subaru.
Don't say a black Ford Raptor and a F8 Ferrari,
I would just say I feel like
because that means
more-
I'm gayer than a motherfucker. Boy.
I would say that now it's the brand, right? I feel like even the brand, like I drive a Hyundai, but and then sometimes
Hyundai's, boy, I'll tell you, by the way, dude, nice cars.
Oh yeah,
What
for
hell
the
happened
price,
to Hyundai,
right?
dude?
Oh,
yeah, some of them look like freaking Benzes.
Oh yeah, no, and they're all blacked out with the LED lights. You would never know. You'd be like, damn.
Dude, I wish I was young in this age. You remember? Like when I was young, the cool cars were all expensive as hell, period, end of story.
Yeah.
The little shit boxes, there were nothing cool about it. Now, there's inexpensive Hyundais that are cool looking, little Scions that are cool looking.
And it's not, if you notice, it's not the quote unquote like flashy thing anymore. It's almost like kind of like a douchey thing to flash your like badge of your emblem sometimes,
for
right?
the youngsters.
For the youngsters, right? For the people that have the money that can afford it, they know it's legit. But for people like us, and we are the growing generation, Brad.
That's
Think
true.
about it. We're the growing generation. We're going to be raising our kids on what we believe. So
Very true.
If we believe, that flag's going to bring us in, we're going to teach our kids that flag's, that pride flag, it's going to bring us in. Because, unfortunately, like you said, it goes back to how you guys were raised, right? My grandfather, he would say, don't advertise you're gay because you're going to get beat up or you're going to get followed from at home. And I had to tell him, like, Grandpa, it's not like that anymore. It's unfortunately,
Well, it's still like that. But
oh yeah,
just in
unfortunately
certain-
it's still like that. But fortunately for where I am, it's more accepted and it lets me target LGBT ads because I'm pretty sure 10 years ago, nobody was targeting the LGBT community to want more customers because like you said, if anything, it would defer them. So culture has changed, industry has changed, but unfortunately with autos, some things still need to evolve when it comes to diversity and inclusion.
Yeah. Well, folks, you guys probably thought I was going to be making all kinds of jokes during this episode because I'm a little bit of a ball buster, but I believe the dealerships should. What's that?
Yeah, I don't have balls to bust.
I'm a genital buster. Okay?
There you go. That's
But-
being
but-
progressive.
Yeah. Well, I told you I was lesbian from the get-go. But realistically, all kidding aside, dealers should be more inclusive and they should be more diverse because it will actually raise your conversion. If Hispanics come in, they want Hispanic people, you don't have any, guess what? They'll go to the next dealership. Mm-hmm. That goes along the lines of, let's just say the entire rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you
Love it.
want to be more diversive or inclusive, and you want to be more diverse to get more opportunities to do business. Secondly, I think everybody, should probably rethink their prejudices, their past, and like let people be people. It's so much easier. You're happier. You literally walk through life like, I don't care who's doing what.
Yeah.
Like
life's easy when you don't care about anybody else's problems, right?
I know, but I saw everybody like freaking out over freaking gay people want to get married. So what? Let them get married. Like,
Right.
what do you care if somebody's happy?
Or what they do behind closed doors not hurting you, right?
Yeah, like they legalized weed here in Nevada.
Nice.
Everyone was up in arms about it. Like, who cares? Legalize weed. Let them smoke weed. Well,
that's what I said. Not to interrupt you, but I was like, marijuana is my generation of like, quote unquote, like the prohibition, right? Like alcohol was like, oh my gosh. And then it was banned. And then it came back because how can you get rid of it? Same thing with marijuana, not to go on that trail, but it's was kind of banned. Now it's back. Like, just who cares? Let people do what they want, right?
That's what I think.
Without hurting others.
I think people should focus on themselves, worry about yourself, improve yourself, be inclusive, and the whole world will be a better place. All right, do you guys smell a lot of weed down at NADA?
Oh, no.
Because everywhere I go in Vegas now, all I smell is weed everywhere.
No, and you know what's crazy, Brad, is when I went to the hotels, right? They have this sign out. It's like $500 if there's marijuana on the property. I'm like, the hell did I fly to Vegas for then, right? Like, I could have stayed in the East Coast for all that. I mean, like, why are we finding people for marijuana, like you said? But no, I think that's probably why we're not smelling it as much. You can, puff your cigar smoke in my baby's face when I walk through the casino, but no weed. Nope, not here.
Have you done this one right here? You got to do this.
This morning? Weed don't bother me.
Did you smoke this morning?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Because Gary, Baba Booey, he thought you smoked weed. He thought you smelled like weed.
Me? Nah, I don't smoke weed.
Yeah, I mean, weed.
I hate weed. Did you smoke?
You see that one?
Did you smoke this morning? Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? You got to do one of those.
Oh yeah. Oh, because I'm in Vegas. Yeah.
Just
I'm like,
period.
Weed don't bother me.
Listen, you want to go viral, you got to jump on the viral bandwagon. That thing, everyone's doing it.
I know.
Everyone's doing it. And it's funny. I mean, I did it just because I wanted to see if I could lip sync it.
Right.
I posted it. I woke up, dude, there's like 600 comments.
Dude, doesn't it feel good though?
It's crazy.
It feels cool. Like people are commenting, watching, and you're like, okay, this is kind of cool. I get,
But
why
I want
people
to learn.
do
I want to
this.
learn how to monetize better. Like I'm getting tons of followers, but I don't ask them really to buy anything.
Yeah.
I don't monetize much other than just knowing what I'm up to. So I get a lot of support, a lot of revenue that way, but I'm talking about like direct monetize. I know people with a couple 100,000 followers, they make $7 million a year putting on quarterly masterminds. And I'm like,
Well, think about it, Brad.
why can't I do that?
That's their only thing, right? Their only focus, right, on one thing is to monetize my content. Oh my gosh, you're a busy man. Like you're successful in 100 other million things than some YouTuber wishes that he was successful at, right? They're just focusing on one constant goal to execute on it. So how are they going to fail? If they have 18 businesses and flipping properties and then had a YouTube channel and monetize solely completely through that, then I would say, okay, that's pretty cool. But a lot of people, they're monetizing. That's their job. Their career is to get on planes, get content, monetize. So, don't cut yourself short. You're an amazing man.
See, there you go. Folks, go follow this girl. She's an up-and-comer, 22 years old. She's got a long road ahead of her, and it looks like it's going to be bright like a sumbitch.
Like a rainbow.
At Tianna Mick or at TGotYourKeys. Until next time, folks, be inclusive, stay diverse, and keep it real.